much has the government played a role in the boom in solar? Because a lot of people I talk to, obviously I'm friends with a lot of the Solar City folks, the subsidies that are given were quite significant, and the government, in fact, funded and gave huge loans, I think, to a bunch of these solar companies. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But solar seemed to be anchored in that if it wasn't subsidized, it wasn't going to happen. But now I just talked to somebody who did their house, and they said, I looked at Solar City, I looked at like these places where you rent it from, and I just decided, you know what, I want to spend the 25 or 35 grand myself because it's so cheap, and just own them myself. So take us through, the audience as well, like what exactly happened 10 years ago with solar and these discounts, and where the solar discounting and government support is, because it does seem to me that if oil is so cheap, there's this big fear that, people are going to stop installing solar. Is that true? And then what's the narrative arc of solar subsidies?
I think the ramp of solar in the industry is inevitable. It's not a question of if our lives will be powered by sunshine, it's when and how quickly and how cheap it'll be. And over the past 5 years alone, the cost of panels themselves has gone down 80 or 90%.
Wow.
So it's incredible.
In 5 years?
In 5 years.
So it would have cost $1, now it costs 10, 20 cents.
Exactly.
The same panel.
Same panel, but even more efficient. And that's what I love about solar is it's a technology, it's not a fuel. So fuel inherently, it's a finite resource. It gets more and more expensive as we have less and less of it, even though we're going to see some short peaks and valleys as we're seeing with oil right now.
Right.
But over time, it gets more and more expensive. Solar is the exact opposite. As we continue to innovate and get more efficient with our manufacturing, the cost of solar decline, like we've seen 90% reduction in the past 5 years in the panels. And so what that leaves us with is an incredible opportunity to innovate in the software and finance space, because for residential installations like your friends, the biggest cost, more than 50% of the cost of them putting solar on their roof was actually in the soft cost, not the stuff you can point to and look at, but rather the customer acquisition, the data, the design, the asset management. And so that's our focus at Powerhouse, and the role of the government and the role of subsidies is an important one. Right. Yes, solar will eventually be cost competitive with fossil fuel, with or without the subsidies. But if we're going to subsidize anything, let's subsidize the stuff that's going to preserve our existence on this planet.
Hey everybody, let me tell you a little bit about Braintree. It's a full stack payment solution for all your payment types for your customers. Yes, you can do mobile payments fast, easy, seamless, and secure. And you can add it to your apps with just a few lines of code, and then you'll be able to accept Apple Pay, Android Pay, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards, and of course, Bitcoin, everything. And if some other new way to pay people comes along, you know the Braintree team will support that too. Developers love it, founders love it, because it's got superior fraud protection, fast payouts, and continuous world-class support. You'll have fewer abandoned carts, more sales with Braintree's best-in-class mobile checkout. And their customers include, are you ready for this? Uber, Thumbtack, Hotel Tonight, Airbnb, GitHub, and StubHub. And I'm an investor in 2 of those 6 companies. And you'd be in good company to be in that class of companies. Well, here's a call to action, everybody. They're going to give you $50,000 in transactions fee-free. Yes, that's for the people who are on the This Week in Startups audience. If they go to braintreepayments.com/twist, braintreepayments.com/twist, and you'll get $50,000 fee-free. You can't go wrong with that. Developers love it. It's easy to use. What more do you need to know? Thank you to my friends at Braintree for sponsoring independent media like This Week in Startups. Okay, let's get back to the program.